The Demon King Manual is actually a suicide guide that trains heroes to kill you for free. Burj Dayas graduates top of his class and follows the rules. He builds a massive tower, kidnaps the princess, and helps the heroes grow. The manual says the stronger the hero, the tastier the soul. He becomes the strongest demon king in history, but as the hero plunges a blade into his chest, the reality hits. His black flames do nothing. Burj coughs up blood, demanding to know how he lost, but this villain-looking hero just laughs in his face. He tells Burj, "Bro, you are in the wrong field." He explains that if he were a demon king, he would have assassinated the human king immediately. Instead, Burj built them a gym. The hero grabs Burj by the hair and mocks him. He explains the first floor was full of weak monsters, making it too easy to level up. He says the tower is just a perfect hunting ground. If they kill one king, another just respawns. The party cheers, thanking Burj for the XP farm. They even call him their godfather for raising them so well. Burj realizes he didn't conquer the world, he ran a daycare for his own murderers. The hero says goodbye and slices Burj's head clean off. But as they celebrate over his corpse, Burj's body begins to scream with energy. He decides to take them all to hell with him. The hero spots the glow and screams for everyone to run. Too late. Burj detonates, evaporating the hero's skin and wiping the entire tower off the map. In his final moments, the Demon King bitterly understands that the standard was wrong. He now knows the heroes used it to look down on them. He wishes for just one more chance. He would screw the standards and give them to the orcs instead. A voice pierces the darkness, calling the name Burj Dayas. He wakes up, his eyes snapping open. He looks around in complete confusion, wondering if he is still alive. The voice calls again, urging Burj Dayas to come forward quickly. He recognizes his own name, still in shock. As another person pushes him to ascend the stage, the academy director scolds him. He asks why a brilliant mind is acting like this on his graduation day. Burj Dayas' eyes fall on the red badge, the symbol of graduating from the Demon King Military Academy. He realizes he has traveled back 15 years in time to his own graduation day. The announcer calls for all graduating students to come to the stage. Burj Dayas doesn't know why he has returned, but he knows this is his chance. The students, who will soon be demon kings, are told to recite their pledge. As the summa cum laude, Burj Dayas is asked to read it as the representative. The glowing text of the Demon King's standard appears before him. It lists the rules. Demon kings shall build a tower, kidnap princesses, act as villains, leave clues, develop heroes to acquire energy, and stock lower floors with weak monsters to gradually increase the difficulty. He looks at the words with disgust. He had once memorized these trash rules. He did his best to follow them, and they became the very things that led to his demise and made him a puppet for the heroes. Standing there, he questions why he has to swear once again to follow this for the rest of his life in front of everyone. Knowing the result would be a catastrophe, he feels rage building at the thought of reciting these standards. An official calls to him again, asking him to please read the Great Demon King's standard. Burj Dayas cuts through all expectations with a shocking and blunt refusal. The graduating students look on in confusion and amazement, not understanding what is happening. He doesn't stop there, shouting that he cannot pledge himself to something so unbelievably stupid. He screams that following the standard is a foolish and fucked up act. He then declares loudly for all to hear that the Demon King's standard is trash. The entire hall is frozen in shock and horror at his unprecedented outburst. This was the moment the Demon King Military Academy's best summa cum laude ended up dead last. Archduke Arkin Blarumph slams his fist down, shouting the name Burj Dayas. He threatens immediate execution on the spot for the crime of insulting the Demon King's standards. However, he reconsiders. Considering Burj's previously exemplary conduct and outstanding talent, he will give him one final chance. Burj must withdraw his reckless statement and apologize to the entire demon realm. If he refuses, his assigned deployment will be to Aryn. The students begin to whisper nervously, one asking if Aryn is the dimension where demon kings die by the dozens. Another calls it a death sentence. One student questions why a criminal like him gets another chance, stating he deserves death for insulting the standards and that an apology is not enough. The Archduke warns Burj that he should know well what Aryn is. He calls it the worst domain where countless demon kings have lost their lives. Burj coldly demands to be sent there. He declares that he will go and prove the Demon King's standards are garbage. The Archduke is left completely stunned. Calling him truly hopeless, he issues the decree. Effective immediately, Burj Dayas' deployment location is Aryn. He will receive no privileges normally granted to a top demon king. No demons will accompany him. Until the occupation of Aryn is complete, he is forbidden from returning to the demon realm. As Burj falls through space, he figures this is expected after the mess he caused. He realizes he is truly being sent back there. Back to Erin, the place where the heroes who killed him live. He reflects that even before he regressed, he had personally chosen Erin. He thought that the strongest, like him, should conquer the hardest difficulty. That arrogance cost him his life. Too many heroes that were exploiting the Demon King's standards. He lands in the snowy Urgest Mountains of the northern continent. He vows that he won't let it happen twice. This time, he will be the one to exploit what he calls the hero's standards. At the Demon Academy, Gordon Durek, the top demon graduate, makes sure he looks good. While the Demon King Academy trains demon kings, the Demon Academy trains the demons who serve them. A regulation states that the top demon serves the top demon king. Another student notes that Lucky Gordon will be serving Lord Burge. A third graduate wishes he'd worked a little harder so he could be the one to serve him. Gordon believes all demon kings are great people, but none are as great as Lord Burge. He calls him a once-in-a-millennium prodigy from the lineage of demonic dragons, who will be remembered in demon realm history forever. He thinks graduating in the same year as him is an enormous blessing. He imagines that with Lord Burge, they can conquer any dimension. He fantasizes about a grand statue of the great demon king and his lieutenant. He vows that he too will be engraved on the glorious pages of history. But then the memory shatters his fantasy as he remembers Burge's shocking declaration. The moment his hero screamed that the Demon King's standards are trash. Deep in the Urgest Mountains, Gordon stands before Burge. He feels lost, wondering why they sent him here after all, since they said no demon would accompany him. Burge greets him, saying it is good to see him, Gordon. Gordon breaks down, asking why he would do something like that. Burge asks him what he means. Gordon yells, asking how he could say such things about the standards in front of everyone, getting them sent to Erin. He screams that now he is going to die too. Burge calmly tells him to calm down or he'll rip his hair out. Gordon shrieks that his hair is not the issue right now. Burge internally notes how different Gordon is now. Before his regression, he was confident and composed. He recalls how his friend believed they could do it, that he wouldn't even feel motivated if it wasn't Erin. Burge understands Gordon's panic is justified since the situation is vastly different now. He decides against telling him about his regression, fearing Gordon might think he's insane. Panting, Gordon apologizes for his shameful display and says he will fulfill his duty now that it's come to this. He brings up the Demon King's standards. Rule 1. The Demon King must build a tower. However, he explains it cannot be hidden or placed in an excessively harsh environment. Only then would heroes be able to find it. He points out that this place is dangerous, surrounded by massive mountains and patrolled by powerful monsters, making it difficult for humans to find or approach. He insists they can't build a tower here and should move. Burge simply says no, he's building the tower right here. He holds out a tower seed, explaining that he must plant it in the ground and feed it Demon King blood for the tower to grow. Gordon is horrified, exclaiming that he is going directly against the standards. He asks if Burge is also throwing away the pride of a Demon King. Burge replies that he never swore an oath to follow them. He understands the disgust Gordon feels. He knows it is hard for a demon to deny a faith carved deep into their bones. One can't reject it unless they die or experience something as drastic as death. He knows this because that was him as well. Burge cuts his hand and tells Gordon to listen well. He states that the Demon King's standards are garbage, especially here in Erin. His blood drips onto the seed, causing it to glow with immense power. He explains that it is because Erin is swarming with way too many heroes. The tower begins the identification process, confirming its user is Burge Deas of the Black Flame demonic dragon tribe. The identification completes and the summoning begins. Burge explains that Demon Kings kept dying here because humans, after countless tower destructions, realized the tower has a certain mechanism. They use the Demon King's standards against them. He declares that in this land, the standards no longer work. He says they should really be called the Hero's Standards, confusing Gordon. The tower materializes fully, and Burge tells him to go inside. They find themselves on the first floor of Burge Tower, but it is completely empty. Gordon notes that a normal tower should have a complex structure or be filled with monsters, but there is nothing here. It's a tower fit for a Demon King with no privileges. Even on the fifth floor in the Demon King's chamber, every floor is completely empty. Gordon concedes that since the tower is already built, they can't undo it. He insists they must at least follow Standards Rule 2, which states the Demon King must kidnap a prince or princess, preferably one close to the throne to yield more demonic energy. He asks to advise the Demon King. Burge allows it. Gordon shows him a map, pointing out that the kingdom of Corzin is the closest to the Urgest Mountains. He urges him to kidnap the princess with the highest succession rank to absorb the kingdom's rage and grow quickly. Gordon braces for refusal, but Burge agrees to do it. Gordon is stunned. Burge states that there is a princess he already has his eye on. He orders Gordon to guard the tower, saying the Demon King's residence must not be empty. Gordon expresses his thanks and relief, thinking Burge is the top Demon King after all. He convinces himself that Burge was just stressed from graduation and that the situation is still salvageable. He asks who Burge is planning to bring. Burge tells him he is going to the country farthest from the tower, the southernmost nation on the continent, the Kingdom of Hilderen. He appears in a dark castle, targeting the one with the least presence among them. He floats before the 13th princess, announcing that he has come to take her. Gordon is horrified, realizing that's the complete opposite of the standards. The princess looks up at him and asks who he is. Burge states that he is the Demon King who has come to kidnap her. With a faint, unsettling laugh, she asks if he is sure he can handle her, shocking him with her boldness. Burge finds her question strange, wondering if she thinks Demon Kings are a joke. He confidently confirms that of course he can, as he is a Demon King. The princess then completely surprises him by agreeing to let him take her. Suspicious of her strange calmness, Burge questions what she is plotting. The princess simply states that since she was born a princess, she always thought something like this might happen one day. He warns her to give up if she hopes to lower his guard. He explains that he is also quite desperate and won't be tricked. The princess denies plotting anything, pointing out that she couldn't have set a trap without knowing he would come. Burge acknowledges her point but can't shake an uncomfortable feeling. Extending her hand, she asks if they shall go. He lifts her into his arms and flies from the castle, returning to his tower in the Urgest Mountains. Gordon rushes to meet him, relieved that he has come back safely. Burge orders him to let the princess stay in a corner of the 4th floor, not the prison. He explains that since she came without much resistance, he is willing to offer her some leniency. Gordon understands and says he has something important to tell the Demon King. On the desolate 4th floor, the princess sits alone on the cold, hard ground. She murmurs to herself that she really has been kidnapped. She notes there is nothing there, no pillows, no blankets, and no maids. It's nothing like her kingdom with its pretty gardens. But with a small smile, she decides that it's not so bad. Back in the Demon King's chamber, Gordon shows Burge an invitation from the Tower of Beasts. He explains that it is a welcome party for the new Demon King. Burge thinks it is not a welcome party at all. He suspects it's just a pathetic attempt by the other Demon Kings to haze him, the newcomer, and throw their weight around. He considers that Demon Kings are fundamentally too proud to join hands with anyone. However, the unprecedented difficulties of Erin have made them go against their pride and work together. He admits to ignoring them before, thinking them weak-minded. But this time, he decides he should at least try to have some light exchanges with them. Burge arrives at the Tower of Beast. He is met by its ruler, Draxon, the Demon King of Beasts, who has ruled the place for 70 years. Draxon asks if he is the new Demon King. He mentions he heard Burge mock the traditional way, but finds him pretty unimpressive. Burge coolly asks if he is here to pick a fight, telling him to state his business. Draxon laughs, revealing that Archduke Arkane told him to watch over Burge once he arrived. Burge scoffs, calling the Archduke a noisy old vampire geezer. Draxon erupts in anger at the disrespect shown to the Archduke, yelling that Burge has some guts. He tosses a slab of meat at Burge's feet, ordering him to lick it. He says if he does, he will pardon his impudence. Burge asks the Demon King of Beasts if he truly doesn't know why he is here. Draxon foolishly claims that he does, stating it's because Burge mocked the orthodox way of Demon Kings. Burge reminds him that according to that orthodox way, Demon Kings cannot kill each other. Then he asks if Draxon really thinks he'd follow that rule. Unleashing his power, Burge slams his fist into Draxon, sending him flying. Draxon is shocked by the terrifying aura radiating from him. Panicked, he stammers that Archduke Arkane told him to see if Burge had properly kidnapped a princess. He threatens that if he doesn't report within a month, he will lose his authority. Burge cuts him off, saying he was wondering what Draxon was about to say. He confirms that he has already kidnapped a princess. Then he adds that she suits his taste, which confuses Draxon. Back at Burge's tower, Gordon praises him for excellently showing the majesty of a Demon King. Burge says it's nothing special and that for now, he is sure Draxon can't do anything more. Still, he acknowledges that this is troublesome. He thinks if this is the stance of the other Demon Kings, things will get quite bothersome. He realizes the consequences of mocking the orthodox way are bigger than he expected. But he reaffirms that even if given another chance, he would make the same choice. He would rather die than bow his head to trash. Burge vows that he will not repeat the same mistake and will rebuild his foundation from scratch. He expects to only get a few hundred demonic energy points from a low-ranked princess, but knows it is the safest option. He checks his status and is stunned. He has 13,000 points. He has no idea why he has so many. Suddenly, a message arrives, He has received a video recording from the Tower of Beasts. On the screen, Draxon congratulates the new Demon King. He says that though their first meeting was not the best, he should at least give him this much as his senior. Draxon admits he is truly impressed, acknowledging that what Burge achieved in Arryn is by no means an easy feat. He wonders if mocking the orthodox way was just a cover. Burge senses that something is wrong. At that moment, Gordon bursts in panicked. He screams that they have a problem and that the fourth floor is in chaos. Burge rushes to the fourth floor. He is shocked by what he sees. The once empty cold space has transformed into a vibrant, beautiful garden, teeming with life. A notification shows that the floor is undergoing naturalization. In the middle of it all stands the princess, creating an entire ecosystem within the magic tower. Burge knows this is a feat only possible for someone who has mastered the four elements. He thinks that there is only one spiritist on the continent who is capable of this. He confronts her, stating he clearly went to the 13th princess's castle. He realizes she is not the 13th princess. She smiles, replying that as expected he mistook her for Alina. Burge is stunned, demanding to know who she is. She states that's right, her name is Ernan Hildurin. She proudly declares that she is the first princess of the Hildurin kingdom. In the Hildurin kingdom, the news breaks. The first princess has been abducted by a demon king. The king roars in fury, demanding to know who dared to kidnap his dearest princess Ernan. He orders the immediate gathering of the strongest heroes and the entire military of the kingdom. He vows they shall behead the foolish demon king and bring back his princess. The princess tells Burge that is why she asked if he could handle her. He admits he had heard of a genius elemental mage who was full of mana. He realizes there is no way he wouldn't have detected it and wonders how she fooled him. She shows him a ring, explaining she can hide her mana with it. It's an heirloom passed down in the royal family. After asking if that answers his question, she wants to know if he will send her back. Burge thinks about it. He knows he will be mocked if he sends the princess back. No kingdom would be scared of a coward, making it harder to collect demonic energy. He decides he has to stick this one through. A system window appears, detecting rage targeted toward the demon king Burge Diaz. His possessed demonic energy points jump to over 19,000. Burge figures they must have singled him out. He tells her that nothing changes, even if she is not the 13th princess. She is still his hostage. Back in the kingdom of Hildurin, the king roars for them to kill the foolish demon king and bring back his princess. An advisor cautiously points out that they don't yet know which demon king is responsible. He explains that they have sent patrols and asks the king to please wait. The king explodes with rage, yelling at them to hurry up and figure it out. He screams that the princess was kidnapped and they are all doing nothing. Another advisor remarks that something is off. The demon king of lust recently kidnapped another nation's prince. This brought the rage of too many upon him, and he was killed by heroes. The advisor finds it strange that another demon king would appear to kidnap their princess despite that example. The king understands. It must be a new one. Suddenly, a guard runs in, announcing they found traces of teleporting magic. The trail is headed north. The destination is assumed to be the Urgest Mountains. The king repeats the name in shock. At Burge Tower, Gordon reports that the army from Hildurin will arrive soon. He asks the demon king if he thinks they'll be too much to handle. He states with confidence that it's fine. The kingdom of Hildurin will not be able to come here. He explains that the Urgest Mountains are at the very northern edge of the continent. The kingdom of Hildurin is at the very south. It's not possible that all the nations in between will just let their army through. There is no way those nations will open a path for them. They will be forced to employ a hero guild instead. In his throne room, the king decides they have no choice. He orders them to contact the hero guild. At the hero guild, the request is discussed. The princess of Hildurin was kidnapped, and the destination is the Urgest Mountains. The heroes react with immediate refusal. One exclaims that the place is full of hellish monsters. Another asks what crazy new demon king would do that. A hero declares that he didn't join this business just to die. The king of Hildurin is going to suffer. Burge knew the hero guild wouldn't budge. He knows those guys only care about money and won't go somewhere so dangerous. He confirms that's also why he built his base here. Gordon is amazed, realizing Burge considered that too. He notes that his master doesn't stick to the rules, but he seems very knowledgeable about Arryn, as if he's been here before. The king of Hildurin slams his fist on his throne, enraged. He shouts, asking how there is no hero who wants to step up for the job. He questions how they can even call themselves heroes. An advisor explains that in Arryn, as many heroes as there are, they care more about their profits, which makes them very picky. Because of this, it will take some time until a proper group is formed. It will also take time for them to get here. Burge considers his options in the tower shop, seeing things like skeletons for 10,000 points. He knows that despite everything, he doesn't have enough demonic energy to deal with a whole army of heroes. He also knows that fear all too well. He tells Gordon to contact Draxon. He's going to sell demonic energy in exchange for human money. Gordon is completely flabbergasted, stammering the words demonic energy. He exclaims that this currency of dreams lets them transcend their species' limits, unlock tower features, and bring in monsters. He can't believe Burge wants to exchange it for human money. Burge explains that he is sure Draxon will pay a huge sum for it. He admits he won't be able to stop the heroes with the demonic energy he has. But with human money, there is something he can do. He travels to Holton Work, a fortress city near the Urgest Mountains. At the gate, guards stop him. They call him an insane mercenary for going to the Urgest Mountains alone and look at him with suspicion. He tosses a gold coin at them. Now then, he thinks to himself that he can't look around the city on his own. He will look for a guide first. He enters the Scarlet Hawk Mercenary Guild headquarters. Inside, a captain is told they should leave this place soon. The captain dismisses the idea, saying it's nice here. The soldiers take care of the monsters, and they just take the spoils of battle. He asks what could be better. The conversation turns to the news of a new demon king in the Urgest Mountains. One mercenary calls it fake news. Another says the guy must not know demon kings well. They always set up towers where heroes can easily reach them. They also mock the news of the Hilderan princess being kidnapped. One finds it ridiculous that a demon king would go to the very other end of the continent to get her. They note the Hero Guild even turned down the job after hearing the destination. They all agree it must just be a show, a trick to milk more money from the kingdom. The captain laughs, saying they all know how crazy those guys are when it comes to money. From behind him, a voice agrees. The captain jumps, screaming in terror. He whirls around to see Burge, who asks who he is. Burge observes that the mercenaries seem pretty knowledgeable, making them perfect to be his guides. With a smirk, he tells one to stay and the rest to get out. The mercenaries charge, yelling that he infiltrated the place and isn't getting out alive. Burge moves with lightning speed, easily dispatching them. He throws one mercenary into a group of others, scattering them like bowling pins. One of the survivors calls him a monster. Outside, a man complains that they're fighting again. His friend wonders if they ever get tired. Back inside, Burge stands over the last mercenary. He tells the man not to be scared. He'll spare him if he answers his questions. The mercenary trembles and quickly agrees, begging for his life. Burge asks where the slave market is. His guide leads him through the city. At the market, Burge sees that there are only human slaves. He asks if they have anything more rare. The guide's demeanor instantly changes and he says of course, leading him this way. As he walks, Burge thinks about how the man can act so normally after seeing his subordinates get destroyed. He concludes that humans desiring money and demons desiring demonic energy are basically no different. In a flashback, Gordon asks what Burge plans to do with human money. Burge answers that he can buy slaves, specifically the otherworldly species that humans have captured. An elf known for its integrity would be best. His plan is to use the elf as a spy to create chaos among the heroes. Meanwhile, in Hilderan, hero Helen Cargill has arrived. The king welcomes him, saying he trusted the hero would apply for the job. The hero confirms he will rescue the princess. He promises to bring back the demon king's head. He declares he will do it in the name of justice. Burge's plan is to use the elf as a spy and confuse the heroes. He thinks this should be very effective since their species is known for being innocent. At the slave market, the guide asks what kind of slaves Burge is looking for. Burge points to the caged elf and states that he is here to buy him. He adds that the guide will pay for it. The mercenary is shocked, but Burge levels a threatening glare at him and asks if he objects. The man stammers that of course he does not object, and that it is a given he must pay. Burge says he has to confirm something and asks the two to leave the room. The merchant hesitates, warning that the elf might go berserk. Burge assures him it is fine and that if anything happens, his guide will pay for it. Inside the room, Burge unlocks the elf's chains. He thinks about how this ever-so-noble elf has been reduced to a miserable slave. The elf feels the demonic energy and asks if Burge is a demon. He demands to know what business a demon could possibly have with an elf. Burge states that he wishes to give him a chance to get his revenge on humans. The elf calls it a tempting offer, but says he cannot trust demons as much as he cannot trust humans. Burge insists that he is different. He offers a deal. If the elf stays loyal for exactly 50 years, he will guarantee his safety and freedom. Burge notes that 50 years is not even that long for elves. He says it should be much better than being humiliated by humans like this. The elf refuses. He explains that Burge is a demon, and that his kind is trying to destroy the world tree that elves serve. This would also destroy the world which the world tree sustains. He asks how he is supposed to trust him. Burge knows it is strange for a demon to seek an elf's help. He thinks the elf is hitting him right where it hurts. He decides to do this. He makes a vow on the great demon king's standards. He promises to fulfill his part of the deal and to not lay a hand on the world tree. The elf is shocked, knowing the demon king's standards are to a demon what the world tree is to an elf. In return, Burge wants him to vow on the world tree to pledge allegiance to him for the next 50 years. The elf calls him a strange one. He says if Burge is going that far, he will agree. He introduces himself as Granada of the Maple tribe and says he will make his vow once he sees the demon king who sent him. Burge tells him that he is the demon king. Granada is momentarily shocked before bursting into laughter. He tells Burge not to make him laugh, questioning why a demon king would come here. He explains that demon kings get weaker the further they are from their tower, and finds it ridiculous that one would move directly just to buy a slave. He then challenges him. If Burge really is a demon king, he will pledge his allegiance for 100 years instead. They are instantly transported to the 5th floor of Burge's tower. Burge sits on his throne and reminds him of the 100-year contract, stating those were Granada's words, not his. Granada is stunned, realizing he really is a demon king. He immediately yells that this is a scam. He complains that Burge never said the tower would be so empty, with nothing up to the 3rd floor. He notes the 4th floor only has nature. He demands to know what kind of sloppy tower does not have a single monster. He shouts that at this rate, Burge will not last a year before the heroes tear him apart. He declares he is not working in a place like this. Burge asks if he has forgotten, reminding him they made a contract. He unleashes his raw demonic power, filling the room with pressure. Granada is terrified by the overwhelming energy, certain now that he really is a demon king. He realizes that the tower might be sloppy, but not one monster of the Urgest Mountains attacked them on the way here. He recalls images of disaster-level monsters. He understands they could not risk messing with them, or rather, they could not risk messing with the demon king. He now sees that a demon king is still a demon king, and that perhaps he really will get his revenge. He kneels and vows on the great name of the world tree that from this moment on, his loyalty is Burge's for the next 100 years. He thinks that since the demon king himself came for him, he will surely be assigned an important role. He will get his revenge as a part of that evil plan. Burge looks at him and says, "All right, first prepare me a meal." Granada stares back, utterly confused. While cooking in the kitchen, he wonders why he is here. He was supposed to be a part of a very important plan. Princess Ernan enters and asks if she can help make some vegetable bread. In the 5th floor dining room, Granada asks the demon king about the woman's identity. Burge confirms she is Ernan Hilderin. Granada shoots up, shouting if he is out of his mind for kidnapping the crown princess. He yells that the tower has nothing and demands to know how he plans on stopping the heroes. Burge calmly replies that is why he bought him. He tells him to sit and eat for now. Granada is completely bewildered. Burge says his cooking is pretty good. Ernan smiles and adds that she helped too. Granada does not understand what is happening. Later on the 4th floor, he asks if Burge wants him to fight the heroes here. Burge says no, explaining if the heroes make it this far, the game is already over. It would mean they already came through the Urgest Mountains. He tells Granada he will be disrupting the human world in his place. Granada realizes he is to become a spy. Burge confirms this is true but says he must first check his skills. He tells him to come at him. Granada wonders how he is supposed to beat a demon king in his tower. Burge offers a deal. He will only use one hand and will not use his demonic energy. If Granada wins, he will reduce their contract's duration by 50 years. Granada tells him he better keep his word. He says he will take him on with everything he has got, nearly saying he will blow his head off. The duel begins. Burge notes that even though Granada spent a long time as a slave, his movements are still fine. He wonders if he absorbed mana from the 4th floor or enhanced his physical abilities, calling it a fitting style for an elf. Granada yells that an average elf cannot do this. He tells Burge to blame himself for picking the wrong opponent in the wrong place. Roots erupt from the ground, wrapping around Burge's leg. Granada sees his opening and declares that Burge is wide open. He lunges, intent on taking his 50 years back. He is sure this attack will land, but freezes as he remembers just who his opponent is. Burge reminds him not to worry. He states that he is not trying to use demonic energy. He promises to control his strength so he does not kill him. Granada hesitates, asking him to wait. Burge's fist connects, ending the fight instantly. Back at the Red Hawk mercenaries' headquarters, the leader exclaims it is an honor to see Burge again. Burge tells him he would like to hire them for a year. The captain quickly agrees and asks about the budget, while another mercenary grumbles about him sucking up to the person who beat them senseless. Burge throws a large bag of gold onto the table as a deposit. The mercenaries immediately declare they will follow him for the rest of their lives. Burge then tells the captain to have this man join his team. He explains that Granada will relay his orders from now on. The men hesitate to accept a stranger. A bruised Granada steps forward and introduces himself. The mercenaries see his battered face and immediately feel a sense of kinship, embracing him. Burge thinks to himself that although they look mediocre, they are seasoned mercenaries who operate in Urgest. He knows he cannot find others like them anywhere else, and they are easy to handle. He is also aware that the only hero that would answer Hildren's call right now is Helen Cargill, the hero who defeated the Demon King of Lust. He addresses the Red Hawk mercenaries. He gives them their first mission: investigate Helen Cargill, the hero employed by Hilderin. They all salute and reply, "Yes, sir." In Burge's tower, he considers his next move. Now that he has left the hero matter to Granada, it is his turn to get stronger. Demonic energy points can be used to enhance the tower or the Demon King himself. For Burge, who had sold all his points, the only way to become stronger would be something else. The Spirit Blossom. It is a crystal of mana that sprouts after absorbing the mana of nature. Once it is consumed, it will grant an immense boost in strength. Here in the Urgest Mountains, with the harsh mana storms and powerful monsters, nature is nearly untouched by humanity. As a result, spirit blossoms have spent long years naturally absorbing the mana of nature. Their energy has become even more refined. Truly, it is a treasure trove of spirit blossoms. Burge thinks that for demons, it is not as effective as demonic energy, but it is better than nothing. He tells Gordon he is going to find some spirit blossoms. Gordon warns that it is risky to go without prior preparations. He says it is akin to finding a needle in the desert. Gordon, Burge's aide, adds that monsters are no different from beasts. They will surely attack once they see an opening. Burge knows he can deal with the monsters easily. But finding the spirit blossoms will be difficult, just as Gordon said. He acknowledges this unless he had an excellent mana detector. A knock on the door interrupts them. Ernan peeks into the room and asks if they are busy. Both Burge and Gordon are surprised. Outside, Ernan runs around excitedly with her spirits. She tells Burge she is so excited. She admits to being more than just a little bored lately. She reminds him he has to keep his promise to let her decorate the 4th floor as she wants. Burge thinks about how she has already decorated to her taste. He wonders how far she will take it, and believes the very idea of decorating a Demon King's tower is already crazy. Ernan did not think she would be able to leave the tower and is happy she came by to check. Suddenly, Burge sweeps her into his arms, telling her to hold on tight. He takes flight, startling her. She protests, saying she is not ready. As they soar through the sky, she looks at the world in awe. She realizes she had not noticed because it was dark on the day she was kidnapped. The world is just so vast. She reflects on her past, where every day just repeated itself. Magic training, studying rulership, then repeating. She thought she was going to do that until the day she died. She tells the Demon King that she is probably the only person who has ever flown over the Urgest Mountains. Burge simply says he does not care. He starts to address the princess, but she interrupts him. She insists that he call her Ernan. She reasons that they are going to be seeing each other for some time, so that will be for the better. Burge thinks he may have let her take things her way a little too much. He warns her that it seems she keeps forgetting her place and threatens to move her to the underground prison. She apologizes and says okay. He orders her to use her spirits to find the spirit blossoms. Burge thinks they probably will not find it very quickly, but he is sure they will be faster than him or Gordon. Suddenly, Ernan shouts that she found it. They land and see that some guests have arrived before them. A large spirit blossom is surrounded by hairy, horned monsters. Burge tells them that monsters are descendants of demons who have left the demon realm. He orders them, if they still have the honor of demons left in them, to obey the Demon King's command. They must not touch the spirit blossom and must leave this place. The monsters refuse. They say they do not listen to a demon's words. One growls that they do not like him and that he will die. Burge laughs, admitting that Gordon was right. He thinks how foolish he was for expecting beasts to think. He decides he shall simply burn them all to ashes. The monsters roar to kill him and protect what is theirs, shouting to kill and eat. Burge unleashes his dark magic, engulfing them in purple flames. One monster cries out to get the weak one first, but his magic incinerates them before they can even get close. Ernan watches, amazed. She knows Pule orcs are known to take down even ogres if they work together, but they cannot even get near them. She thinks that this is the power of the Demon King. After the battle, Ernan holds the hyacinth. a water and ice attribute spirit blossom. She marvels at how pure and mono it is. Burge tells her not to covet it. She replies with a simple okay. He then adds that if they find more, she can have one. She gasps and asks if he is serious, her eyes sparkling. Burge thinks to himself that humans can only cheer up when they are given carrots. He tells her he will try his best. Sadly, they never found a second patch of blossoms, even though Ernan tried until she was exhausted. Back at Burge's tower, he considers the crown princess of Hilderin. At first, he thought taking her was a mistake, but now he thinks she might be more useful than he had initially thought. Gordon enters, reporting that he just received a contact from Granada. He says it was quick. The hero, Hillen Cargill, along with 32 other heroes, have departed from the capital of Hilderin. However, they are not heading toward Urgist. They are going to take the classic path of a hero, which is to form a party and grow by completing villagers' quests. They will then get stronger through their journey. Gordon says he has prepared a few plans for the hero's journey and asks the Demon King to read them slowly. Burge dismisses them all, shocking his aide. He declares that this time, they will not be sending any monsters or interruptions to the hero's journey. Gordon is confused. Burge explains that half-baked interruptions only make the heroes stronger. He tells him to relay a message to Granada. He is to join the hero's journey with the mercenaries, help them, and build their trust. Gordon remarks that his master is not following the standard this time either. He worries, asking how they can stop the heroes with their current tower. Burge tells him not to worry. He will make sure to reinforce their tower with a dwarf. Gordon shouts, asking if he now wants a dwarf in here along with the human and high elf. He argues that if anyone saw that diminutive species in their tower, they would become a laughing stock. Burge is not saying they will stop the heroes simply with a dwarf. To be more precise, they need dwarven magical tools. He tells Gordon to think about that for a second. As the heroes have become used to the Demon King's standards, they will open the door to the first floor expecting some weak monsters. But what if dozens of cannons welcome them instead? Gordon realizes the heroes would never be prepared for that. He still thinks this is too far from the standards. Then, in a sudden realization, he screams about another abduction. In Wolfner, the dwarven underground city, the best dwarven blacksmith, Loger Friedrich, is hard at work. He is now scheduled to be kidnapped by a rogue demon king.